Hola, amigos. Hell has no fury like a woman scorned. You ever heard of that? Well, I'm going to make it even more interesting by quoting something from Epictetus. This is from his writing the manual, and it's chapter 1, the first paragraph. It says, "There are things that are within our power and things that fall outside our power. Within our power are our own opinions, aims, desires, dislikes, and some, our own thoughts and actions. Outside our power are our physical characteristics, which I kind of alluded to in my last video, the class into which we were born, our reputation in the eyes of others, and honors and offices that may be bestowed upon us." Epictetus, the manual. And no, I am not driving at the moment. I'm parked. But now I'm going to be driving as I share my insights into this. So I began by saying hell has no fury like a woman scorned. That's an old saying. Of course, the Stoics are even older than that. And how are those two tied together? Well, I'm going to focus on the part where Epictetus tells us that we don't have any power over our reputations. And we don't. Because reputations are thoughts in other people's minds. There's nothing we can do to control that. Oh, sure, we can do the right things, and hopefully for a while we will build up a positive reputation, because it's nice to have other people think good things about us. And it can be helpful in our careers. It can be helpful in relationships with other people. It can be helpful in a variety of different ways if people think highly of you. Here's the problem with that. Don't get too attached to it, because they can all be destroyed that freaking quick. And so I'm here to tell you about my little experience. And this is what will happen to you if you fall into the category of a man getting ready to end a relationship, whether that is a long-term relationship with a partner, with a wife, or even a short-term. Because the woman is never going to be wrong. It's going to be you. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Your reputation is going to be sullied. It's going to be sullied. It's going to be tarnished. It's going to be ripped apart. Now, many of you guys are probably saying, look, man, I got good close friends. I got a tight-knit family. They're not going to believe this stuff. No, they very well may not. However, it kind of depends upon the ability of the woman to spin the tale of reputation. Having been married to a divorce attorney for 25 years, I've heard a lot of stories out of the courtroom, and you'd be real surprised how often in the middle of a trial, when things are not going the wife's way and they don't like how the judge might rule, all of a sudden the husband becomes an abuser. The husband becomes a pedophile. The husband becomes these horrible things that were never mentioned early on. You would think that would be the first fucking thing that would come out of a woman's mouth if that were the case, but no, it doesn't. It comes because if I can destroy their reputation, and the H-bomb of reputation destruction is the abuse card. Which is a shame, because there really are people who get abused out there. Now, there are two different kinds of aggression. Men are overt. We punch, we shoot, we stab each other. And that is why prisons are far more full of men than women. So I give them credit for that. But the most vicious creature on the planet is the covert aggressive, which is almost entirely made up of females. And if you don't believe me, go hang out with a bunch of middle school girls as they talk about one another. That is nothing more vicious and vile than that. And it doesn't stop. It continues on that way, because it's a survival thing. I'm not here to say, hey, we need to change women, or women, you need to change. I might say men stop punching, shooting, and stabbing each other. That would be a start, but I don't foresee that happening, because we've been doing that since we were hairy things living in trees. I'm just here to say, be forewarned. And don't get too attached, because you don't have any control over your reputation. It's going to come and it's going to go. Those who really care about you will either question what's being said or will just downright not believe it. Now, in my circumstance, there was so much shit slung at me that I couldn't believe it. It was coming from my family. I didn't even realize it. They had heard from my ex that are terrible. All these, I mean, it wasn't like she even picked out one single psychological disorder. She just like went through the whole book and started checking them out and claiming I had all of them. Because she couldn't face the fact that I was leaving her. And she certainly was not going to face the fact that she may have played a role in that. Now, most women, and believe it or not, I'm getting women viewing these things, and even some comments, and most of the comments have been rather nice, but not all of them. Most women who are going to see this, or many, are going to assume, no matter what I say, it was my fault. Okay, once again, no control over that. No control over my reputation. No control. I had been involved in a church for years. Never heard from any of those people. Gosh, why could that have happened? Well, because they decided to believe, and it was simpler to believe the woman's word against mine, which I didn't even defend. And I did. I thought about defending it for probably a couple of years, and it really ate at me that these people that I loved and respected, and I thought loved and respected me in return, after a period of time you realize they don't give a shit about me. They don't. And I just decided, you know what? Let them think whatever they want to think. And that's my advice to you men, is when the shit hits the fan, not if, it will. Your reputation is going to be out of your hands. It's nothing you can control. Epictetus told us that 2,000 years ago, and I'm here to tell you and remind you it is true. There's nothing you can do about it. Let it go. There's going to be gossiping. There is going to be the gathering of the hens as they get together and talk shit about the rooster. There's nothing to stop that. And don't worry about it. Best thing to do, get on with your life. Get away from the people that were willing to listen to that trash in the first place. It's not going to have really any impact on you. Most of you, it's not going to affect your careers. It's not going to affect your relationship with the people who really to the people who really matter. It's not going to affect them. It's not going to affect much of anything. It's only going to drive away the people who are just hanger-oners and aren't worth hanging around with anymore anyway. No control over your reputation, guys. Don't sweat it. It's not a big deal, because those who know you and love you are going to still believe in you. And more importantly, you're going to believe in yourself, because you're going to know all that stuff is complete and utter bullshit, and let it go. And that is the main thing. Believing in yourself and knowing who you are. Having set up a set of ethics and having lived by them, it doesn't matter what other people say. It never did, and it doesn't now, and it never will matter. It may hurt and it may sting for a while, but believe me, you'll get back from it the minute you let it go and quit giving a shit. That's what the Stoics say. If I could sum up Stoicism, in my own view, it would be this: don't give a shit unless you got control over it. Guys, life is hard. Don't make it any harder than it needs to be.